What do you consider an accomplishment? You know, it's the time for the Olympics, so a lot of people are talking about the accomplishment of sports. You think about a guy like Michael Phelps or Michael Jordan. I guess a good way to be an athlete is to be named Michael. And I think about the pictures of Jordan. You know, he has 7 rings on one hand, or Michael Phelps, those pictures where he has more gold chains than Slick Rick and Mr. T. Those are accomplishments to me. Or if you have a successful business, you started from nothing, you grew up in the backwoods of, let's say, Idaho, then you have some big Fortune 500 company. That's an accomplishment, and many other things as well. But when you talk about the accomplishments of one Hillary Clinton, I'm always curious as to what people are referring to. Because when I think about a person like Hillary Clinton, I think about the lies. I think about her stepping off the jet and saying, oh, I was dodging all this sniper fire like I was Neo in the Matrix. And then Cheryl Atkinson, I believe it was Cheryl Atkinson, she comes out with the CBS report. She's like, I was there and no snipers were fired. Maybe, you know, someplace on the other side of the country. But when we were walking out the jet, Mrs. Clinton stopped and took time to sign an autograph for a little girl. There was no sniper fire that day. Or you think about Bill's bimbos, as Mrs. Clinton has affectionately called these ladies, all these women who say that they had a relationship, whether willingly or unwillingly, with Slick Willie for the past several decades. And I'm not just talking about consensual shenanigans with people like Monica. I'm talking about women who say Bill Clinton is a sexual predator, and Mrs. Clinton has come out and demonized these women for doing said things. And now we have this article here today, Hillary's top 10 accomplishments, because she's just, I guess, the most qualified is what I keep hearing from the people in the media. Now, I'm not going to go through the full list. There's 10 there, but there's 3 I'd like to hit pretty hard. We'll start with number 3. This is not questioned by the mainstream media over her poor health and coughing fits. Now, if somebody else was in this position and they were continually coughing up a lung, or if they were seemingly having a seizure, you guys saw that video last week where she was doing this kind of deal, like maybe a mild seizure, people will be all over that. And this is nothing new for this election cycle. I know there's been plenty videos, whether she was at some speaking engagement or at the debates or whatever else, where she just starts coughing and she cannot seem to stop for the life of her. Even going back to the death of bin Laden, or the story we were told about bin Laden's death. If you guys think about that Situation Room photo, and everybody says, oh, Mrs. Clinton, she was so shocked. Because you see Obama, he's sitting here like this, and all the generals. And Hillary, she's sitting here with her hand over her mouth. And people say, oh, she was so much in shock. By her own admission, she was not in shock, because as we know from the CIA director at the time, he said they didn't even have a live feed of what was going on at the compound. Mrs. Clinton had her hand over her mouth because by her own admission, she was coughing or sneezing in that picture. So she has a long history of health problems, but nobody seems to want to touch that. And we'll get to that here in just one second. Avoided being charged for her role in Benghazi, which directly led to the death of 4 Americans. Now, Mrs. Clinton has famously said, we came, we saw, he died, referring to Gaddafi. Now, if you can consider the death of Gaddafi an accomplishment, that was really the only accomplishment that came out of Libya. And by no means am I saying Gaddafi is a good guy. He was trying to get his country on the gold standard back before his death. That's something notable. But by and large, there are many things I don't like about the guy. But after he died and you had all the terrorists come in and take over the country is not better off. Not only are the people in Libya not any better off with Gaddafi dead, United States Americans here on the other side of the world, we're not better off. We're not safer with Gaddafi dead, because now you have all these terrorist organizations fighting over land, fighting for territory, basically going to terrorist college over there in Libya so they can come here and blow us up. And we're not any safer now that Gaddafi is dead. Of course, also to tack onto that, you talk about the situation in Libya, talk about the death of Ambassador Stevens and all the other guys who were killed in that compound because of the incompetence of an administration who, on foreign soil with a United States ambassador, completely ignored his request for more backup, for more men. He said, I need more boots on the ground. It's getting pretty hot out here, not just for himself, but for the people who were there in the CIA compound. He was like, if something pops off out here, we're kind of outgunned here. We need some help. And what do? Even though he sent months and months of these requests of these cables to Mrs. Clinton and people like her, they did not give him more security. They actually took security away. But what difference at this point does it make? And also, Mrs. Clinton has gone nearly a year without holding a press conference and answering questions from reporters. So this is one of the greatest sleight of hands that I've ever seen, because anytime you see Mrs. Clinton, it's on some friendly show like the Clinton News Network or Clinton Broadcasting Systems, and they write all these puff pieces about how she saved a cat from a tree, or whatever else she did. Nobody actually gets to ask her a real hardball question. You know, we've seen the videos of her. She's walking past all the reporters. Reporters ask her questions. She completely ignores them. Or the few times she does have some type of town hall meeting, or, you know, she goes and speaks at a college, you know, she kind of laughs off all the hardball questions. So she really hasn't been under the gun, under the fire, has not had a chance to have people really grill her about these subjects like they do somebody like Bernie Sanders or Trump, or I would even to extent assume Gary Johnson. She has completely avoided this. So in that is a very big accomplishment. But at the end of the day, I just do not know why people support this. Well, let me take that back. I know why people support this woman, because we've gone out and the few Hillary supporters that we can find, they told us why they support this woman. They support her because she's a Democrat, because she's a woman, because she has the legacy factor going with Bill Clinton. Now, any of those things in and of themselves aren't bad, but when they're your prime reason, I'm going to vote for this woman because she's a woman. That's like me saying I'm going to vote for somebody because they're a man. That's completely ridiculous. I voted for Obama back in 2008. I didn't vote for him because he was black, because I was just raised a Democrat. That's what I was taught to do. You vote for the Democrats, and there are other reasons as well with that Democrat ideology that I had at the time. But this is why people are going to vote for this woman, pretty much because they feel that it's their social justice warrior duty to do so. And one of these people who's going to vote for her is a GOP congressman, and he's supporting Hillary, and he also took thousands of dollars from Planned Parenthood. And this is a Republican New York Representative, Richard Hanna. Planned Parenthood donated thousands of dollars to Hanna's campaigns in 2012, when he was one of 3 Republicans in Congress to accept money from the organization, and again in 2014, when he was the only Republican funded by Planned Parenthood. Now, you think about an organization like Planned Parenthood, and there's a lot of racial division in this country right now. Like, Trump's a racist, he's a Nazi, all this and that. But you look at an organization like Planned Parenthood that was funded by Margaret Sanger, who, by her own admission, we got the photographic evidence, went to the Klan rallies or speaking to the guys. There's those famous pictures of the guys all saluting her. She got essentially love letters from Adolf Hitler telling her how awesome she was. And now you have a group like Planned Parenthood that's under investigation, or previously was under investigation, for selling baby parts. We've shown the videos here. You've probably seen them talking about, I want to use the proceeds from these dead babies and these dead baby parts to go buy Lamborghinis, and saying all types of other horrendous statements. And the kicker about this is they kind of like judo moved this whole thing to not go after Planned Parenthood, but go after the Center for Medical Progress, who brought about these videos. And even though it turns into this thing where it's kill the messenger, a similar thing with Snowden and Assange and some of these other guys, and I know not everybody likes everything about these guys, but the point is they bring forth information about people who are doing way worse stuff than they do, and they're the ones that get in trouble. A similar thing with the Center for Medical Progress. They came out, they said, hey, we have these people on tape saying these things, doing these things, and then they want to go after the Center for Medical Progress. Luckily, that lawsuit or that case was dropped last week, and because they were going after them, not so much for the videos, but they said they used false identification, like they used fake IDs to get into. I'm like, even if they did, they're not the ones chopping up babies, but using a fake piece of plastic versus chopping up a baby just, I guess, doesn't compare in the medical or the American justice system.
We have ended the big mega sale, the biggest in our history. Now, we have kept 3 items, though, this week. That's Brain Force, while supplies last, the amazing nootropic, for $17.76, normally $29. Leading competitors that have similar formulas are $60 to $70 to $80. So we're already a great deal at that price. It has some ingredients that are controlled or prescription in Europe. That's how powerful it is. Read about it for yourself at InfoWarsLife.com. That's 40% off. DNA Force, our flagship product. It's a big deal to offer 30% off on that. We're extending that. And then Vitamin Mineral Fusion. All the vitamins, all the minerals, the amino acids, the cofactors to help upload it. Great tasting fruit punch. Organically flavored. There's nothing else out there it's like it. It's amazing. It's plant-derived minerals. InfoWarsLife.com. That's 30% off. But I'm going to go further. Boom, here it is. Normally you sign up for auto ship, you get 10% off. You still get that on top of it. I'm doing free shipping on everything. Whether it's one Hillary for Prison shirt or a Bill Clinton rape shirt or whatever it is, whatever informational warfare weapon you want to help spread the word and meet like-minded people, free shipping store-wide. Free shipping store-wide. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you can get 40% off on Brain Force. You can get 30% off on DNA Force. I'm not going to sit here and belabor this. People should really go read and see the hundreds of studies that are there breaking down just what BioPQQ does and why this is such an amazing nutraceutical and why it's so important that folks take it daily, because the compounds in this are just amazing. I mean, you just know they're from God. But I'm not going to get into the science. Go to InfoWarsLife.com. Go there to the page for yourself, and you can check it all out at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsStore.com is the umbrella site, and your purchases make it possible, everything we do here. So I want to thank you all for your support, your prayers, and so much more.
We're not even able to post probably half of the reviews that come in. And the reason why is because if anyone mentions a disease or they got better from a disease, the third-party review sites that we subcontract out to that monitor these reviews, if there's any mention of a disease or anything in there, it can't go up online because of the regulations with the FDA. So please feel free to call in as much as you want. We love hearing about your stories, and this is just DNA for us. But you know, the best thing that I love to do and the best thing I tell people to do is just go online, InfoWarsLife.com, and just read all the reviews.